guys, what's up? It's me Zoya and welcome back to my channel. I don't know how things are around you guys right now. Are you in lockdown? Are you going back to school? Are colleges opening up? I don't know. As more and more people are getting vaccinated, I would assume that they are. And one of the things that I remember pre-quarantine and that has been consistent throughout quarantine is my freaking entertainment package. Let me describe what this means to me. This means podcasts, shows, TVs, movies, anime, books, games, like anything. And I freaking love this stuff because it helps me escape the world in so many ways. So I just came up with my list of recommendations for everything that I love. That doesn't make any sense. So I came up with recommendations for everything that I love and that I know a lot of you guys will enjoy as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. I put them all in this little notebook. I went a little old-fashioned in my approach. Okay, so we're gonna start with first things first, shows. To watch alone, you guys know that Gilmore Girls has been my favorite show ever. I'm gonna give you guys a brief description of the thing and my little rating with it. You know what, I'm not gonna rate because I would rate everything 5 stars. So I'm just gonna give you guys a little description and then you guys can follow along from there. So, to watch alone, I would suggest starting with Gilmore Girls. It's such a beautiful story about a mother and a daughter relationship based down in a little town where Rory, this very bookworm, school-loving nerd girl, lives with a mom who is so funny and just likes living on the edge. She's a teen mom. She was a teen mom, so it's like now they have like a very little age difference and all the characters are really funny. There's a lot of witty dialogues, lot of funny punchlines.
Everyone.
Wow. I can't believe Paris is doing an older man.
Who said doing? I didn't say doing. I just said kissing. That's it.
Rory, come on. When you're dating an older man, you're probably doing older man things.
Oh, gee.
And the story and the twist and the drama and the love lives of the mother and the daughter, you have to be like not very focused to watch it. It's like a light watch, but the story is still very interesting. So it's not a sitcom, but it does feel like a sitcom. And it's pretty light-hearted and it's a lovely story. It's a little old, so if you hate this current world right now and if you think the 2000s were a better time, you are gonna love this. The other one is Impractical Jokers. I don't remember if you guys remember Impractical Jokers because it was a big part of my life growing up. I think it used to come up on Comedy Central all the time and I used to watch it back then. But what Impractical Jokers is basically 4 friends. I think they're 4 friends and they give each other like embarrassing tasks to do in public and it's so funny to watch, guys.
Let's get sexy. Let's get sexy. Let's get sexy. You look like such an idiot. Let's get sexy. Let's get sexy. Nobody's chatting.
And Impractical Jokers is just such a classic and I think rewatching it with your friends, even if you have watched it, that's just like an amazing idea. The next show is Kim's Convenience. This show just recently came on Indian Netflix. So I've been watching it a lot. I watched it with my friend. And I think Kim's Convenience is a great show to watch with friends because it's very funny. Actually, Janet and her parents, they run a convenience store called Kim's Convenience and that is what the show is called. They also have a brother who works at a car rental and he has his own different story and all together they just make a great dynamic.
Mr. Kim, are you homophobic?
Roger. What word are you using?
Homophobic, Mr. Kim. This is discrimination against the homos, and it's a hate crime, and I'm gonna report it.
What?
Roger.
What? Report? Yeah. Look. I am not homophobic.
Uh-huh.
Look, if I'm a homophobic, then why do I give a gay discount?
There's other characters who are part of the car rental, who are family friends. They all go to the church. There's a lot of characters at the church, and like it's a light-hearted show that you can have a lot of fun watching. The other show that I think are great watches with your parents, and this one is specifically a great watch with your mom if your mom knows English. I'm also have some Hindi recommendations to watch with parents, but if your mom knows English, a great show to watch with her is Jane the Virgin. It's basically like a typical Indian TV show, like those little daily soaps that we had with those extra dramatic effects where people would come out from amnesia and people would have a second life and everything, and it was the craziest stuff would happen. Jane the Virgin is just like that, but it's like an American adaptation of Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but just for legal reasons this is a joke. Another great show to watch with your parents would be Cobra Kai. I recently watched this show with my mom. The storyline is pretty interesting, I would say. So if you guys have watched The Karate Kid, it's basically a continuation of The Karate Kid, and Mr. Miyagi, who's now dead, but his student Daniel has his own dojo where he teaches karate to kids, and he has a rival dojo, and it's like a bunch of karate drama, high school romances, parent romances, lots of romances, and lots of drama, amnesia, no, there's no amnesia actually, coma of course, and a bunch of that stuff. It's pretty fun. So I would suggest watching it. So I know a book is good when I don't stop reading it and I continuously keep reading it. And one of those books were To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Now, to give you a preface of the story, it's about racism. So if that's something you're interested in, you're gonna love reading this book. I think it's based in the early 1900s or the mid 1900s. I would say the early, where this man, who is a black man, yeah, it was Atticus. I think the lawyer's name was Atticus. I forget all the time. And basically he is such a good father figure. Like if you don't have if you need like someone that you can read about, it just feels like a father to you the whole time that you read about it, and how he treats his kids, how the kids and his father's dynamic and everything, the story of the kids, and just like a good time. It's like very cozy and comfortable to read. You would actually feel like you feel so comfortable reading this whole book. Like it feels like Atticus is literally giving you a hug and saying everything is going to be okay. Because I don't know, if your whole life you had missing a father figure or a grandfather figure or something like that, I would suggest reading this book. Because I don't know, it just feels like Atticus is a father to you, and I love this book, and I mean to reread this in the future soon. Definitely a reread. Another book that I feel like is just so cozy to me and is very similar to How to Kill a Mockingbird is The Catcher in the Rye. And this book has no plot whatsoever, no story. It's just life that's going on. It's just simply life that's flowing. And I don't know, this book is, why I call these two similar is because they both just make me feel so cozy. Like on a winter day, just being in your bed with a hot cup of coffee and reading this book just makes me feel good. So it's about this boy who's in a boarding school. And I don't remember what really happens here. It's a lot of stuff about him and his boarding school and his dynamic with his teachers. Oh my god, my mom is talking so loudly. Okay, so I think that's a good book too. I would give these two books, like, these are my favorite classics of all times. I don't think I will ever find books that are gonna match the level of these two books ever my whole life. If you're into books that have very difficult word languages and are harder to read and will take more time but are still pretty good reads, I would suggest The Scarlet Letter. The plot is very simple. It's about adultery in the 1800s. And I know reading about the 1800s can be very tough, but it's also about feminism. It's about proto-feminism, and if you want to see what feminism was in like the 1800s, I would suggest reading this book. And I feel like this is the time when people started having ideas of feminism in their individual selves, and when individual women started to recognize feminism in their day-to-day lives. So I would suggest this book is a very good way to like just identify what feminism was back then. I don't think people necessarily see this book like as one of the foundation stones for feminism, but I kind of see it like that. And yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book. We're gonna move on to some non-classics, some quick fun reads. My first recommendation is Beauty of the Moment. It's about this Indian Tamil girl, I think she's Tamil. She moves to Canada, and it's about her first high school boyfriend, Malcolm, who is also Indian, but he's been living in Canada for a long time, so he's Canadian Indian. Guys, this book, like after talking about like literature and stuff like that, this book makes me feel so many things in so many different ways. I'm gonna read this again. I'm not even gonna lie. Like their story is it's like a sweet little high school love story where like a good girl like falls in with the bad boy, and the bad boy like helps her skip classes and everything. It's like the kind of book that makes you want to go, you know, I don't know if I'm making sense, but if you just want to like, I read this book in one day and it was such a good book. Like, I don't know, if you like high school romances, especially the ones that feature Indian girls like us, this is the go-to. It's called The Beauty of the Moment by Tanaz Bathena. It's such a good book, guys. It's such a good book. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of stories about Afghani refugees from all around the world, and Khalid Hussain, he writes a lot about Afghani refugees, and both of them, Kite Runner and A Thousand Splendid Suns, talk about Afghani refugees. They're very, 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 very sad books. Very sad books, but they're also so good and so worth the read. Like, the characters go through so much that you just want to give them a hug and tell them everything is going to be okay. If you want to cry a little bit, if you want to appreciate your own life a little bit, if you want to just read stories that are just gonna shake you, Kite Runner and A Thousand Splendid Suns will give you like goosebumps. I can guarantee you, if I can ever find books to compete A Thousand Splendid Suns and The Kite Runner, I don't think I'll ever be able to, because these books have like absolutely shook me to my core. So next up we have anime. I am very new to anime and I haven't watched a lot. I watched like 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. At max I've watched like 10 different animes, 10 different shows, so I'm very new to it, so I don't have many recommendations. But out of the 10 that I've watched, I'm gonna tell you guys about my favorite 3. The first one is My Hero Academia, and people have very mixed opinions about My Hero Academia. This is my favorite show ever, and I don't usually like superhero stuff that much. I love My Hero Academia. It's basically based on a world in the future Earth, in the future on Earth, where majority of people are born with quirks or superpowers, and basically they all go to a hero academy, and some of these people can be heroes because the world has a lot of villains, because now apparently everyone has superpowers. And it's about this kid called Izuku who goes to his school, and his school is a superhero school basically, and he just wants to become the greatest superhero of all time, even though he was born without a superpower or a quirk. So the story is very nice, it's very heartwarming, and sometimes it's really funny too, and I love it so much. Character developments in the show, oh my god, peak. You see how hardworking and dedicated the characters are, and you're like, man, this show is better than the real world. And it's such a good show. I love My Hero Academia. So, Demon Slayer is basically in a world where there are demons who are man-eating demons. There's a group called Demon Slayer Corps whose goal is to like slay demons and protect humans basically. And it follows the story of Tanjiro, who is he reminds me of Izuku from My Hero Academia because of how dedicated and passionate he is. My mom is being so loud right now. I asked her to turn it down a little bit, but she won't. But anyway, Demon Slayer is a great show. It's about this brother-sister bond because Tanjiro, who's a member of the Demon Slayer Corps, his sister is actually a demon, and it's just a great story. There's a movie out too. I haven't watched it yet, but the show is amazing, and I love Demon Slayer. One of my favorite animes ever. The third one, if you don't like a lot of fighting stuff and you like more of the high school romance stuff, Fruits Basket is a great show. It's a show that's right in the middle of all animes for me, because it's about this one girl called, I forget what her name is. Why do I forget names? I'm not gonna start talking till I remember her name. Toru Honda. Yeah, just like Hero Honda, Toru Honda. That's her name. And she's a girl her mom died actually last year, and she's still keeping so strong. She makes other people happy, and she starts living in with this family who has a whole family curse. So there's a whole family drama in their family, but there's two boys who are not cousins. They're just like in the same extended family, and they both have a thing for Toru, but Toru is she's right in the middle. She wants to make everyone happy, and I don't know, everyone has their own sad stories, and it doesn't sound the best when I describe it, but trust me, the show is so good. It makes you want to be like Toru and how grateful she is for everything and how appreciative she is for everyone. And yeah, it just makes you realize how little you need in life to actually be happy, yet we always want all of these like really extra superficial things. So I feel like there's a lot to learn from Toru, and that's why I love the show. Well, I am gonna end this video for now. My list was way too long and I didn't get through all of it, but I feel like this video is definitely touching a 1 hour mark right now, and I have to bring it down to 30 minutes to upload it. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. If you do give it a thumbs up, I will be sure to make a part 2 of it. And yeah, I love you guys so much and hope you guys like this video. Bye! My ring. Bye! Okay.